Fable 5 is the most powerful AI creative that Anthropic has ever shipped. I gave it one prompt at a time and it built all of this in SVGs. Everyone is a single web page, and because it's SVG, it stays razor sharp at any size. It's only a few kilobytes each, so it's lighter than a photo. Every shape is live code, so you can recolor, animate, or flip to dark mode, and the text stays real selectable text. Not a video, not an image. So 3 days after it launched, the US government pulled it offline over national security. So that's how powerful this model is. I tested it on SVGs because that is the most useful for web designers. Now let's get right into it. Now, Claude Fable 5 is actually on the same level as Mythos. So Mythos, if you guys know, it's the model that Anthropic came up with, and it was so powerful that they had to kind of keep it and only share it with important companies that manage like the internet infrastructures. So we have Opus, that was the previous best model from Anthropic, and now we have this Fable 5, which is the most powerful right now. So Mythos was used in the Glasswing project. So this was to reinforce security before the model becomes available to the public. So Mythos is the model used by all the companies that are in the Glasswing project. So all the important internet infrastructure, they have a chance to patch and fix all vulnerabilities that they have in their own systems. And now Fable 5 is the publicly available models. They stripped out the ability for it to be used for cybersecurity and actually using it to attack these infrastructures. So here on their page, we can scroll and see all here. This is all the benchmark, and and it is extremely good, and you can look at it here. But what we're going to look for is what are the guardrails that was implemented in this model. And if you continue, you see some kinds. You see all different use cases that it used for. For example, here it played the whole Pokemon game from start to finish, and you have other simulations here. And this is the protein designs, and this is going to be super advanced. These models, when they are able to do this, like for Google as well, when they're able to do these kinds of simulations on protein, then we are going to see new products, and the medical field itself is going to be accelerated greatly. So when we go to see here, this is the new safeguards. So the safeguards that they have for Fable 5 are for security reasons, like cybersecurity, or for biological or chemical weapons. So they have this classifier. So when they detect these topics, it's going to block it and downgrade your model to Opus, which is less powerful. And it's also going to detect reasoning extraction. So this means when people try to use this model, take their reasoning and try and build from this and build their own model, for example, for competitors. So that's why they have these kind of safeguards in place and this safety classifier, so that every time they detect it, it's going to block it. But in a way that you're not going to be blocked with your work, but rather it's going to jump into a lower model, which is Opus. So make sure that every time you work on something and you ask for an implementation, and then you kind of notice like the models or the results degrading, then make sure to look which model you're on, because it's going to switch it silently. So make sure to check as you work on your project. So the first technique here is something that you will see often in real production. So you have this for the SVG workflows. So you might have a client that want, for example, this logo to be transformed into SVGs. And this is very common in production. So the reason why we want this is because if, let's say you want to look at this, when you zoom in, then you see the image is really all pixelated. So this will not work well for a logo, or for example, if you're working on marketing product. For example, if this is to be used on a poster, then this would not be good. And that's the reason, why we don't want to use this and why we want to turn it into an SVG, why the client would want that, or your own product. And the reason this is so powerful is this: we have an image, and by using an image, you can also use for AI generated image as well. So you can create so many things. For example, with Midjourney or any other AI generation, you can create so many things, original and very creative, super beautiful, and then turn it into vector, which then when you scale in, then you will see that we don't have the scaling problem anymore. You see here, we don't have this problem anymore. So everything is crisp and super sharp compared to the image here. And that's the super, super useful in production. So once we have this, then we can go into something more creative. This is all custom, so it can be manipulated, SVGs. So then we have this that we can build. So it's very easy to do this because the model is so good now. So all you have to do is to give it a simple prompt like this one. We built this as a clean SVG, real shapes, real text, and the exact colors. So from this, it's going to turn it into workable SVGs that AI can work with, and you can manipulate it easily. And from here, we have this SVG, then we can turn it into this animation, because since now it's all in code, then you can easily give it to AI, prompt it to give you a nice animation. So for the animation one, another simple prompt here. So all you have to ask is, for this example, is make this logo draw itself on the outer ring first. So the outer ring, and then the inner ring, then the two wave marks, each starting a beat after the last. So it's a staggered animation. So once the marks are down, fade the word mark up, then loop the whole thing. So it's a loop animation at the end like this. Or if you want only once, then you can tell AI to do so. And this model had it. And remember, this is a one-shot prompt. So, this looks very similar, right? But it's not perfect. You will have to work with it, polish it a little more. So, for example, you want this to be exactly like this. So instead of this one wave here, you want the exact one here that has two double ones, one on top of each other. So that would be pretty much the only thing that would need to be worked on for this one. The rest is accurate. And the animation as well. So if you look at here, there's a little line here, so it's not complete. So you just have to prompt it again. Like every time we work with AI, we always have to adjust it and come up with more prompt to actually get the final result that we truly want and that it's perfect. And this is just the way that we work with AI. And this model is already great. So you see the first result is already super good. And there's more to it than just logos. So you can be creative with this. You can create so much more. You can have micro animations. You can have, buttons. You can create all kinds of custom animations on your website. And when you pair it with AI image generation, then honestly, you can create really, really unique and creative stuff. So you can think of this workflow and try to think about this SVG AI image generation and try to integrate it into your own day-to-day workflow. Now, another use case of the SVG is to use this to draw this technical drawing, for example. So you have the image here on the left, and on the right is where it's been created in SVG as a technical drawing. So we can see that it's not perfect, right? Because it did it in one shot, and also the AI is going to be will only get better. So from one shot, this is what it got. So we have the actual outline here of the image. Then we have the text, and then here the stroke lines and the background. This is pretty good, right? for a one shot. But this is just an example that I'm showing you guys, okay? This is a use case and this is one shot. But you have to think of the full workflow. If you want this to be more accurate, don't get fooled by this result only because this is only one prompt, okay? If the AI is only as good as the context you give it. So, for example, this is an image, but if we can link up multiple AI or workflow, then we can get it, feed it a more accurate image as context, then it's going to be 100 times better. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about because this is the image. But if you use, for example, ChatGPT, ask for an outline for an SVG like I did here. So from the image, it used the image generation, like the image 2.0, and it got this pretty much accurately. So from this image to this result, which is absolutely stunning, okay? This is crazy. So now you have like you done the most important step already. So which is to give it the best context as possible. So now you can see the difference. Every detail is in here. You have the handle on the left here, the actual camera details here, the text, everything's here. So it will be so much easier for any model to use it and build what you really want for your product. Look, from here, from this one, okay, the simple one in one shot, because we fed it this image, when you give it another workflow and give it a really great context and combine multiple AIs together, then you will get much more of a more accurate, more beautiful designs. So you can imagine if I feed this into Fable 5, then you will get an amazing result. We will have the text here, the dotted lines and this and that, because this will be all SVG and you will control 100% of the result because it is codes and it is SVG and AI is really great with this kind of work. So from this, you can think of other stuff because then we're getting to the, like I said before, the AI generated image, and you can create whatever you want. So you can create your own assets for your website. You can create your own elements. You can create your own animations. So everything will be custom, and especially if you use it for a client, then they will absolutely love this. You can animate everything here. You can animate their product, for example, or a logo in a more accurate way by doing this workflow. So from the technical drawing, then we can get something like this. So I have two examples. Let's start with this one. And remember, these two are all one shot, so only one prompt from Fable 5. And when we scroll here, you see the actual product here. And as we scroll, the elements are going into the right position. And then we have the text all here, explaining like a blown up shot of a product, right? So this was created entirely with Fable 5. So it's just crazy. And when we scroll down, we can see that it understands the physics of the product. Look, when the lever goes down, it compresses because it's a press. And everything, pivots at the right point, the lever here. This is, there's a contraption here. So this is like the physics understanding of this model is so mind-blowing. So then you can scroll and it maps it to your scroll position. So when you scroll down, you can see this cup filling up. And this was created entirely like one shot. So you can really think that if you want to iterate or have different animation, then you can really take this to another level, right? So from a one-shot prompt, this is actually crazy. So let's look at the other one, this one. So look at this. This is a watch, right? It got it like one prompt, and we have this scroll-driven animation that is so beautiful. Imagine that we use the same thing as we did with ChatGPT here. So we get a real product like this, for example, the watch, like a client's product website, and get the real product here, and you create this kind of animation, then it will be stunning. Then it will be so nice. So from one prompt, you got this, you got everything right. So again, the physics, the understanding of the product, the animation maps it to the scroll-driven animation. Everything here is very, very like at another level for this model. So it's just so good at SVG, in my opinion. This is stunning. And if it was a real product, then it will be even more crazy. So far we've seen how this reacts to a viewer scroll. Now let's have another examples and see what happens when the scene runs itself. So this would be a playable game. So this is the game that it built. And you see here, everything here is in SVG. You see the parallax here in the back in the mountain. And since it's an SVG, then if you zoom into it, you won't see any pixels, and everything will stay sharp, right? It will be crispy, not like, for example, if you use a bright sheet, then it will be pixelated and it will turn into mush. And this is not using any game engine. Everything is built custom. And the advantage of this, what I'm trying to showcase here, is that you have full control over it. So if you want to turn this into, for example, like a light mode or dark mode, then you only use one media query, and you can style all of this. Since it's SVG, you can style all of this in CSS. So that's really the benefit of using this. And this is a game, but it's not like you're not gonna maybe not use this in your website, but it just shows you the full control that you have once you have it all in SVG. So the same way that you would style a button, then you will style this any element the same way. So this game, yeah. Okay, so you can jump, can also double jump, So this is a fairly simple game that you can jump more. And you see, as the first prompt, then now you can cheat. You can jump as much as you want to actually fly. But if you want to have something production ready, then you would prompt it again, right? So this is just an example. And when you touch the obstacle, then you lose, and it counts the distance that you made. So this is just, as I said, it's a one-shot, and it's a good example of what this model can do. And obviously, this is simple, right? But this would actually be crazy in the 90s. But this is a simple game. Like, it's not a first shooter or anything, but it's just to showcase how you can have full control over all of your elements in SVG. So a game is flashy, but now we're going to look into something that we can use as a designer. So here we have a icon and micro animations library. So this is something that you would actually use it more than other stuffs like the game. So here we have what the library. Here we have the icons, right? The animations, micro animations. And what's really interesting about this is that everything that we build ourselves, then we can have custom styles, custom animations, everything custom to the actual website, whether it's for your product or for your client. So since we build it, then it's much easier, and we can create all kinds of animations instead of using, for example, Lottie files. So if we look at this example here, this hamburger menu here, what's really like the actual micro animation, how it works, it's really simple. It's just two states. So you have the start and the end. So this is the end. When you start, you have the 3 lines here, right? And now when we look at the animation, you will see that the top line and bottom line will animate into the actual X, will position into the X, 1 line each. And the middle one here is going to disappear, dissolve. That's how the actual animation works. So there's 2 transforms on this animation. So, and that's the base, like the basics for all of this. So once you know that, then it's easy to kind of understand the back end of it. So it's 2 states, to start and end, and you have the easing in between. You can think of this like it's like the tween, if you've ever worked with After Effects. So it's just the in between animation. So in this case, we have 2 transforms, and we have all other kinds of animations here. The like here, the like button here, which is really nice with the particles, and it interacts with your interact and it interacts with you when you click. And you have this, the notification, and all kinds of micro animation that would be really useful for our website, or any website, if you will. And again, this is just a one prompt, so this one is not working well, but you can easily reprompt it to fix it. So we have the icon at the top. Now here at the second place, we have the buttons. So we have this animation here, which is the sweep, the border draw, so the border here, and then this nudge of the arrow here, the magnetic, so it follows your cursor, and this becomes more and more generic with AI. The success here, and the save changes, which shows the actual spinner as it works, and the ripple. And then we have this. This is where, like, the spinners, when it's waiting, it's showing an actual UI instead of the user guessing. So all of this is custom made, and you can style it, and you can transform it. You can create all kinds of animation that would fit, anything that you think of. Only your creativity is the limit here. So below we have the controls. So the toggle here, we have the check draw, radial pulse, and this is, pretty cool. I like this one. When you click on it, then this goes smaller to the top here. The stepper here. So all of these are very useful. Like, you guys work on websites, you will use this for sure. Here we have the action. Tell them it works. So it's a reaction animation. We have the tooltip here, which is very cool, and the toast and the counter. So at the bottom, we have other animation, underline draw. We have this, the shimmer. So now you can see like all kinds of stuff that you can do once you have your element in SVG. So this gives you full control, and full control as into AI can control it for you, where you can just prompt it. You can just give it your thought, give it your creativity, give it your, the kind of way you want your project to look like. And since it's fully customizable, then we can style it exactly the way your project works. So this is the actual use case, one of the best use case for a designer when using this SVG workflow. So that's it for this SVG workflow with Fable 5. So if you found anything useful in this video, then make sure to let the algorithm know by hitting the like buttons, so that I can continue working on this video for free. I will go into more details into all of this and make more videos into this. So make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.